Today, I am joined by the head coach of the University of Arkansas's women's rugby team, Jason Ayers. I am also thrilled to have two special guests, current Razorback women's rugby players and officers of the club, Sabine Skoch and Annie Webb. Welcome, everyone.
Thanks for
Good
having
morning.
us. Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Great to have you here today. Let's dive right in. Coach Ayers, let's start with you. Can you please tell us a little bit about your background and your tenure as the head coach of women's rugby at the University of Arkansas?
Yes, I don't know if we have enough time for that on my background, but I'll shorten the story a little bit. Been involved with rugby for about 40 years. Was originally a soccer player and converted to rugby because of my roommate. And then I started in Jacksonville, Florida. And then from there, I've been fortunate enough to travel around the US on pretty much the East Coast and play a lot of good rugby and learn a lot and had some great coaches and some great teammates that have propelled me into the game significantly and great friendships and relationships throughout. As you get older, you realize that it's time to hang the boots up, and then I still want to be close to the game, and so I started giving back and doing a lot of youth and high school, and got certified to coach, got certified to ref, and I'd still do both now. So back in 2021, right after COVID, a former player of the U of A women's team approached me and here in Northwest Arkansas and asked me if I'd be interested in picking up and coaching the University of Arkansas women's team, in which I graciously accepted that because I had a good friend of mine who coached another strong women's program at University of Central Florida, and he had coached there for about 15 years in their women's program. And he just provided me a lot of good feedback on what he got from coaching the women, and I had already coached the men. The men in the community here, the Arkansas Griffins, and so I was ready for a change, and this was a nice thing to step into. So I've been coaching here at the U of A women's program now since 2021. Last couple of years, we've had some really good success with recruiting and with numbers, and that's allowed us to propel our program into for sevens into the NCR national championships in Division Two the last 2 years. So that's really been a great thing for us and has helped us with recruiting as well. So here we are now approaching our fall season, going into 2025. We lost about 7 seniors last year, so I'm looking to really beef up our recruiting and fill those roles and those positions. And so hopefully we can get that done as school gets ready to start up here in another 3 or 4 weeks for us.
That's super. What a great goal to set and to continue that legacy. Sabine, when it comes to competition, what schools do you play against and who would you say is your biggest rival?
So we play all around the Mid-America region. We mostly play different teams from Missouri. Um, we just had our qualifier home tournament not that long ago. We were able to get a few teams from Texas, and we also um, reached some interest with some Oklahoma, LSU, which is Louisiana, and Colorado. So we play all around the area, and I'd probably say um, our biggest rival would have to be UCM. They always have like some really strong players, a lot of like beefier girls. So yeah.
That's great. And when is the season? When does it start? Do you play all year long? Do you play much 15s or is it mostly sevens?
So we really do play all year long right now. Annie and I play for our local Fayetteville club team, the Fayetteville Phoenix, during summer sevens, and we have about like 3 or 4 tournaments every year, and those are all for sevens. And then for 15s, we always play those in the fall with the Razorbacks, and then spring immediately follows it up. We try not to we try to give our players like a break because they are students and they are working and stuff. So we'll have like a nice little winter break. Everybody go off and enjoy that. And also spring break is very sacred to the team. Um, but we really like to push each other outside of practice, and we'll be hitting the gym or going running as a group or just a few players at a time, which the university provides those like facilities. So it's a nice like meeting place. And so like rugby really happens all year long. And anytime something super exciting like the World Series or like we had the Olympics and stuff, it's like a lot of watch parties and it's a lot of like getting involved with one another and socialing and having a lot of fun all around. And all my best friends are on the team, and rugby's been such a like wonderful place to make new friends and be a part of a community and something a lot bigger than yourself. And like we're always screaming it up and down the field. It's like with you, and that applies on the team during practice, but also just like for life and birthdays and holidays and yeah. So
Oh, I love that. That's great.
yeah.
And Annie, what does the rugby week and season look like from a training, lifting, playing perspective?
Yeah, so generally we start about a week after like school starts. And then we are allowed two sanctioned practices a week on the university's athletic training fields. And then outside of that, besides Saturdays when we have games, it's all up to our own discipline to go to the gym, train, run with each other, do whatever we can to stay in shape outside of practice so we can up our game on the field. So, yeah.
So, do you tend to group together and go lift together, even though it's less official? Or
Yeah,
can you do it in
so
small groups? How does that work?
yeah, usually we have a big group chat with everyone that's ever had any interest in joining the team or anyone that's on the team. And we'll text in there and be like, hey, I'm going to the gym at this time if anyone wants to come with, or hey, I'm gonna go run at the park if anyone wants to come with me. And so a lot of times it'll be small groups like that outside of practice.
That's super. So you're never alone unless you want to be.
Yeah, yeah. And all the time everyone is up to go with you, so it's awesome to have someone because at least for me, I hate running alone. I can't do it. So running with someone makes it so much more fun and so much easier and yeah.
Absolutely. Coach Ayers, how do you approach recruiting?
Well, I approach recruiting by well, first of all, we've got a good playbook, and we've had a good playbook for recruiting that's been developed by the team themselves, and so they're very very active with the university and understanding when there's events where that they can beginning of school year events where they go out and table, and they bring come out there with some snacks and a couple rugby balls and throw them around, all wearing their rugby gear and talking and trying to recruit rugby. But really, I just lean on the players to do that since they're on campus. They do all of that. Since we are a club program, there's not many resources that I can provide except good fundamentals of coaching and training and things and just engagement into the game itself. But I really lean on the ladies to manage the recruiting aspect of it.
No.
So along those lines, Sabine, can you tell me a little bit about what it means to be a club sport, how the club is run? You're both officers. What does that mean? Because it's a bit different when you're dealing with a club environment. So I think that explaining that might be helpful.
Absolutely. I mean, uh it's a blessing and a curse, isn't it? Because being a student athlete to a sport that isn't recognized very often at all, like Coach Harris was just talking about recruiting, and we try to cast as large of a net as we can, but that net really doesn't go out to everybody that we want it to. A lot of the times it's like we're tabling there on campus and we have people come up to us and they just say like, I have no idea that like we had a rugby team and are you guys good? And then we're like, yeah, we just came back from two national tournaments, we placed in both of them. So it's uh it's very frustrating not having all the very specific facilities on campus that like the women's basketball team or the women's softball team and they get. But we are a European sport being played on American soil, so um, I guess that makes sense. But to be a club sport on campus means our players have to have a lot of passion for in everything that they do, and we all have this like larger understanding that we are a club, and without each player chipping in where they can to kind of fuel the club, and talking about rugby, even going to class and meeting some new friends and finding out that maybe they have just a little bit of athletic interest and being like, well, have you ever heard of rugby? Did you know that we have a rugby team? It's a lot of just communication and trying to spread the word as much as possible. With UREC, they have very specific rules and guidelines about what we can do officially as a club and what we can't. So it's a lot of finding like kind of safe, like saying like, oh, well, this isn't like necessarily a school sanctioned or like a club required activity, but you should really come, like kind of stuff. So yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Coach Ayers, what would you say are your big goals for the coming season and beyond?
Well, for the coming season, I would say, my goal is to number one, let's field a full squad of 25 or 30 young ladies out there that we can get, reset our program a little bit with players and athletes so we're ready to start in the fall. With them and me, that just then that's the first starting point. If I don't have players, we don't have a team. And so that's what I keep telling the ladies. If we don't have players, we don't have a team. So we really have to really push hard and forward on the recruiting thing and come out of your shells and be an extrovert and ask a lot of people and reach out to them and go bring these ladies back in there just the way that they all came into the club. There's a reason that Sabine and Annie and everyone else came into the club. They didn't know anything about rugby before they went to college. And so they found the game, and I know it's provided them a lot of joy and a lot of, you know, a lot of confidence and a lot of everything about the game and about themselves. So that's number one. Um, from a competitive standpoint, I always want us to field a very competitive team and showcase our just fundamental skills out there on the field. That's something that's very important to me that I learned as a coach, and that is, all right, so we may not win the game, but we're going to go out there and show that we know how to play the game. We're going to do the fundamentals of catching, passing, tackling, all the proper way that we can, that we win those opportunities as they present themselves going forward. Um, so that's kind of current where we are for 15s. For sevens, my goal is for the team is to repeat and get back to the NCR championship sevens again in the spring. We have to do that by qualifying and winning the tournament in the Mid America to be able to go do that. So you can't ever take it for granted. So that's what we have to go do to try to earn that spot and then to go compete and perform better. You don't know what you have in terms of athletes and players, so I can't really set goals for that. And then lastly, just the legacy of the University of Arkansas Women's Club. It's been around since 1976. Next year, we'll be approaching our 50th year. That's a big deal to me, even though I've only been around it for about 5 years. But I know I have a lot of friends here in the community that have played and been a part of the women's club. And so for me, I always talk to the ladies about legacy. This is your club and your legacy that you want to have carried on, just like the older ladies that have played here and years before you. So those are things that are important to me about the goals for the club.
Super. Now, Sabine and Annie, I have a question for each of you. Sabine, as you're going into your senior year, let's start with you. What is your favorite memory of your women's rugby experience at Arkansas?
As soon as I saw that question, I instantly dreaded it because I have like I could talk for hours about my favorite memories on this team. I am just so grateful that we have such like a vibrant, beautiful community. I feel like rugby really does attract some of the best people that you could ever meet. Like just talking about character alone, like very compassionate, very understanding, very accepting, very warm. Like it's just a lot of people that want to lift each other up in sports and to push and push like all the boundaries of what you think you can do with your body and what's possible. Rugby's just so demanding and it takes such like grit and determination and loyalty to your team on and off the field. Like bad rugby is selfish rugby and like holding on to that ball, and it's all about passing out wide and being there and looping and supporting and stuff. And so I we have so many fun things that we do on this team, and I've gotten so many opportunities. I've met older generations of rugby players in Northwest Arkansas, and they've all showed out to our home tournaments, and I just there's a lot of fun memories, and it's so impossible just to pick one because I met my roommates, I've met my best friends, I met my like the love of my life. Like I'm so ecstatic about everything that we've ever done together that it's definitely impossible to choose one, but it just definitely sweetens the crop that we are able to show out at national tournaments to our best of ability, and like we get closer to winning every year. So like the whole thing. So I'm just super excited.
That's great. I'm sitting here with the biggest smile on my face, and your joy and your passion is so contagious. And Annie, what about you?
Yeah.
What do you think is your favorite memory or your general sentiment?
Oh gosh. Okay, so it's probably pretty similar to Scotch. It's so hard to just choose one. Probably right after our last game in nationals, we all ran onto the field. We had won the game, ran onto the field where everyone had just played, and we were just all hugging each other. Everyone is just sobbing in tears. We're trying to take pictures, but it's just like being in that environment with women that I had only met not even a year ago, to be with them and like crying with them. It was just such a surreal experience to me. Like I am so grateful to be on a team where we're so close with each other. We love each other so much that we can put each other up. And yeah, so just being with each other anytime we're all together, it's just always so much fun and such a joy. And it's my favorite thing. And I love this team so much. So yeah.
Well,
Oh my God, you're gonna make me
you
cry.
guys couldn't be better endorsements for the program if you tried. This is amazing. Annie, let's shift gears a little bit. And I was wondering how participating in the rugby club fits into your academics and your social life.
Yeah, so it can definitely be a little bit difficult. So I'm a full-time student and I also work to be able to pay for rent and bills and stuff. So it can definitely be pretty hard. Something that coach always says is you can get out of rugby what you put into it. So he does make it very easy to, you can come when you want to, but you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So if you're only able to come once a week, that's totally fine. You're gonna get played, you're gonna get time, and you're gonna get what everyone else is getting, so you won't be treated differently. So that's always super helpful. If you're able to come more, that's great too. Um, as far as like what we do, um, like outside of rugby, if we have other events and stuff, those are usually always optional, which is really nice, but we have them all the time. So if you can't come to one, you're going to be able to come to another one. So yeah, it's difficult, but for me, it's worth it because it helps me stay active and I've made so many friends. So yeah.
And it sounds like being a club environment gives you a little bit more flexibility with your
Yes.
participation than, for example, a varsity program where it's basically your full-time job on top of your full-time student status.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So,
Melanie,
Sabine, I'm sorry.
I always say that rugby doesn't pay the bills. So you're going to have to find time and be a good time manager to do what you need to do to be learning the game, developing your skills, staying fit, and then everything else that you have to do with your own personal life to take care of the roof over your head, the gas in your car, the food on your table. So, I understand that, and they do a really good job of managing that themselves.
Thank you. The University of Arkansas has about 33,000 students, 28,000 undergrads. It's a big school. Sabine, can you tell us a little bit about what life is like at Arkansas and what you think are the best things that the University of Arkansas has to offer beyond
Yeah,
rugby?
yeah. Well, so I do love the University of Arkansas, even though I um get very frustrated with the way that they organize everything all the time, especially for club sports. It's a lot to do as presidents and officers, as Annie and I can definitely testify to, even though we've already been only doing this for the summer. So, but the University of Arkansas has really great study abroad programs. I've very much enjoyed their opportunities for like women in STEM and science, and providing like a lot of opportunities for um, people to test out a lot of different aspects and areas of academics without like fully committing, just so that you understand maybe some better things of what you like and what you don't like. An example I'd love to use is my entomology minor. I That was absolutely not my plan. I had no idea how much I enjoyed like that little microbiology aspect, and being able to understand little things that make such a big impact in our world. I love talking about insects and identifying them and stuff. And I feel like they could really help us out in future, and we would have a lot of better health in our world if we knew how to take care of the small things that make our world go round. So, but I absolutely had no idea that I wanted to do that. I was like, okay, well, people is my path. Like I love I love to talk to people, and I love to help them help themselves, like more of just being able to facilitate and provide resources for success, which is, I think, a big reason of why I'm super excited to learn all the ropes about being president, is so that I can kind of do the same thing for our team and our new players, and mentor and move through. That's how I got through college, was like definitely all these older players stepping up and kind of like guiding me through and helping me like manage my time and study and all sorts of stuff. So but the university also has very strong presences for mental health, sexual harassment, and any sort of like people on campus, and tutoring, and lots of different opportunities through that. So I like to think that probably the University of Arkansas's best aspect is that I feel like there's a very small chance of anybody getting left behind or slipping through the cracks, is because everybody cares so much. And the fact that Arkansas traditionally has been such a rural part of the United States and stuff, we do need those resources, and we need people fighting for our educational rights. And that funding is just so very important. And Arkansas does a really good job of like, in this like perfect little corner, at least being able to really focus on that. So
Thank you. And I know that you're a social work major. Annie,
mhm.
you're an agriculture education major. Annie, could you tell us a little bit more about what some of the strong academic areas that the university is known for?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that they're known for is poultry. Poultry is really big in Arkansas. So the university has a huge poultry science area with a lot of funding. I was actually in that when I started. And then their agriculture is also just really big out here. We have a whole Don Tyson agricultural center with the Pauline Whitaker stables. Um, so yeah, those are two pretty big areas that the university has, which of course I am very grateful for. One of the reasons why that I went to the university was because of that presence on campus for sure.
Great. And finally, Coach, what can you tell us about where you're located in Arkansas and the surrounding community?
Well, we are located in Northwest Arkansas, so we're about 3 hours northwest of Little Rock, about 3 hours south of Kansas City, 5 hours north of Dallas, 2.5 hour, 2 hours east of Tulsa. So we're really right in mid America. And even what one of the best things about the University of Arkansas is we're really close to the Ozarks. So we're, you go out 45 minutes, hour and a half east, you're in the Ozark Mountains, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And people always say that when you come to Arkansas, like I never knew that it was so pretty and so beautiful, had so many things to do outside, and so it's really really nice. We're very very fortunate for that as well. So that's where we are.
One of the last hidden gems, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, thank you very much, Coach Ayers and Sabine and Annie. I wish all of you the very best in the coming season and as you progress at the university and beyond. So can't wait to see what you accomplish on the pitch this year.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Us too.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mommy.
so much for the opportunity. This is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I love speaking and talking about all of this, so I could do it for
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
Take care. Thank you.